Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is episode 103 with Uli Brodersen. Okay, today we have a very different episode on the AMP1 Iridium. Well, Brodersen, is it a real German name?
Yeah, there's some people in the north of Germany.
To me, north, it would sound Uli Brodersen, and it has this O with this kind of...
Yeah, then it would be Brodersen, I think.
Brodersen, yeah. And then this would be even more Nordic, the metal kind of guy, but Uli is not a metal kind of guy.
No, not really, not really.
Yeah. It is a special episode because we are from the same area. We met each other a little bit, but we never played together. So this was the very first time we actually played a few notes together.
Yeah, great. It was fun.
Yeah, it's getting there. And there's a very, very old background that connects the two of us, which is a teacher that I went to for maybe 3 or 5 lessons, and you took the full treatment.
I think he was my teacher for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And he was is a real jazz guy.
Yeah.
He's still there on the scene.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's playing right now.
I don't know either.
anymore,
I met him the other day in the supermarket. We are talking about Heiner Franz.
Yeah.
This is Heiner Franz. He looks like a jazz guy. He plays like a jazz guy. He is a jazz guy. And this is what happened to me when I was a teenager. I was into, more rock, but I wanted to open my horizon, get out my kind of boundaries and that rock trap, and wanted to learn a little bit more. So what happened is I asked for this jazz experienced guy, and actually a nice guy. And I took one lesson, and he showed me, this is some scales that you should know. We probably played Autumn Leaves or something, A standard, something like that.
Yeah, I learned all the standards from him.
Yeah,
What you said, Autumn Leaves and all the Blue Bossa and all the things you are and all that stuff.
He is the expert on that. So, but then I was kind of a little impatient, and I said, I want to learn something like Pat Metheny. I like Pat Metheny. And then he said, Pat Metheny, this Karel Gott of jazz. Karel Gott is a Schlager singer in German, which is a very bad thing. And he was totally not into that thing.
Only traditional jazz guitar. Like Herb Ellis, Joe Pass.
That's his life. And I wanted to be in that kind of more modern, poppy direction.
Me too.
Yeah. And I had a big conflict with him. It's like, okay, this was the end of it. I quit taking lessons, and I quit listening to jazz for at least a decade, which turned me into a different player, which was good in the end, because it's part of my journey and it's part of my background. So I'm very thankful for Heiner being who he is, and he's actually a nice guy. I met him the other day in the grocery store, and I got his telephone number, so we have to catch up after 40 years or whatever.
Yeah, and then call me, then we go and have coffee with him. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's Heiner Franz. What a man. On the other hand, I have one thing before we go into this detail that actually is a little bit shocking to me, and it's another big part of my life. It's one of my former colleagues when I was with Gärtner for 27 years, just passed away last week. So on this Saturday, it's his funeral. We are talking about Bernd Schneider. Bernd Schneider, was always a very positive energy guy, and we spent so much time together. We had so many fights in the R&D department about frequencies and how I wanted the amps and what is different. And my whole journey started to demonstrate his flagship master built AS64 programmable amplifier, which was totally new concept back in the days at that time. So Bernd was kind of an inspiration for me because he was always Mr. Technology. This is a picture of him back in the days. I think it was in 89 or something. Yeah, you know, doing layout, PCB layout design and stuff like that. And then when I came to the company, I was this young demo guy. Where are we here? Already my white Strat. And look how clean I was and how clean my Strat was back then. Yeah, then we had so many things here. Another picture. Back in the days, they used to really paint the PCBs. So that was Bernd again doing the layout job. He had done so many crazy things. We won awards together with, this is Bernd again, myself, for products that we created and designed. Me with the Tube Man, I came up with the idea. He was... Well, we worked on the whole thing together. And then this is when we had a Leslie in the R&D department. So this is a real Leslie, belt-driven, tube-driven. This was our reference for the rotosphere and so on. What is this? I don't know. Well, this is us with a triamp. Like this, you can see. Yeah. Anyway, I spent 27 years with him together, and he just, well, he had some health issues, but it's very sad because he has been a deep good friend, a great humor. We went through so many things. I think on the funeral, I will see more colleagues. And actually, I'm thinking about to make kind of an obituary about all the stuff that we have to share as stories. Because, you know, when you spend your life with a guy like this, there's tons of stories. You wake up at a trade show and he sleeps in the sound booth because he couldn't finish, you know. So, you know, we came from the hotel and he was, good morning, and you know the first people already knocked on the door and he was sleeping there. You know, we did a lot of crazy stuff, which is yeah, this was part of my life, big time. And yeah, I think we will I have to do something special about him with other colleagues. So yeah, and so we lost another great engineer. You know, Thomas Reusenzen passed away, Howard Dumble passed away, and I put Bernd in the same league. That's, I mean, everybody has its own strengths and cooking recipes and ideas and concepts and way of thinking, but I'm very much, yeah, we were a team. So he had a lot of my ideas, and we kind of shared many ideas. Me more from the musician side and he more from the technical side. And that was our role. Now with my own company, I stepped a bit more into the technician side again. Yeah, anyway. Okay, back to our topic, which is sounds and which is the AMP1.
Yeah.
The first thing which I found super funny is how did the whole thing start? I think you called me up because you played that Iridium.
Yeah, I have a good friend of mine. He lives in France.
Okay.
And he is not a metal guy, let's say a rock guy. And he bought the Iridium. So and he said, you have to come over and check the clean sound.
Okay.
Because I think you will like it. Then I went to his house and I took my jazz guitar with me, which a big jazz guitar, and
What is it? Is it a...
it's an Epiphone,
Epiphone.
like a L5 style, cheap one.
Okay.
Broadway. And this guitar,
Yeah.
and yeah, I immediately fell in love and called you, and you said, yeah, okay, I know. You can play jazz with it because it has a straight, clean channel, very fast clean channel, which I like because, you know, I use it for jazz and funk playing.
Yeah, this is something I knew of the music of what I heard from you. It was kind of fusion funky always.
Yeah.
I mean, you have that jazz background, of course, but the music was kind of, you know, this, what's the genre? Is fusion, happy days, LA,
No,
what is it?
Something in between, I would say. You know, it's always, some people call it smooth jazz, but I think my compositions are not smooth jazz because the B parts are always, the chords are, it's more funky, and I use different chords.
Yeah.
So, and I tried different amps, and I need a fast response, you know?
Yeah.
If I play with my right hand chords, like, I can show you.
Yes, please.
It's very loud. Let's say, switch the delay off. Let's say I play something like that. You know, I need the fast response.
Yeah.
And if the amp is too slow, that's not my thing. And the Iridium
Is fast.
is fast, yes.
Yeah. I mean, for me, the interesting part of this is my first aim on the Iridium was to design a fast amplifier for high gain. I put the focus on high gain and fast because metal players want fast and tight low end and of course tons of gain. So you're coming from the total opposite side, but use the same amplifier, and this is why we called this episode the sweet side of the Iridium. And I always wanted to create amplifiers that have a natural common ground, in German I call this Grundton, which is kind of the fundamental tone of a guitar, and then have the extra towards different styles. But if this foundation, if this fundamental guitar tone is not there, and it's just a very special aspect of something, I don't like that. I respect some people designing these amps, but to me they are too much one-trick ponies. And they might make one guy happy, but all the rest of the world is never happy. And so I want to have that in the middle, stable guitar, which is a common ground for every kind of music guitar tone, and then on top of that as a plus, and not sacrificing any of that, I want that extra quality of being faster or tighter and stuff like that. But I don't sacrifice this Grundsound Qualität, the foundation.
Yeah, a good amp is a good amp.
Exactly. Like a guitar as well. I mean, even Eddie Van Halen could play on a jazz guitar and he could still sound like Eddie Van Halen because he's a great guitar player playing a guitar that has that Grundsound Qualität. And then the funny thing is, of course, my mind was totally somewhere, and then somebody like you came along and said, wait a minute, I like the clean channel. I said, okay, well, it makes sense. After I thought about the whole thing, it's like, okay, he's doing funk and he's like super tight, and then, super tight, it's like metal, super tight, but it's clean, super tight. So that makes sense. And then, the second thought was, okay, there's this jazz kind of thing. Nice. So this was the first connecting with AMP1 for you.
I came to your
office,
and we checked the AMP1, the Iridium Edition, and I brought my pedals, all my pedals. I have different gain pedals like the Boss Blues Driver and an Ibanez Tube Screamer, and I have a Soldano like pedal. It's from Wampler.
Wampler.
Wampler. And and you showed me the other channels from AMP1, and
we had. So this is for me the thing was I was interested what kind of sounds, what other sounds would you need besides the clean tone? And then the typical way that people like you would do is having a clean amp and pedals.
Yeah.
So like a Fender amp or whatever, a traditional clean amp as a pedal platform.
Yeah,
and then
that's the way I think.
You grow up.
Yeah.
So, and this was for me a very nice exercise or challenge even to see if I could make you happy. So you showed me your pedals, you played that Soldano tone, you played that RC boost, and showed me your gain. I mean, the gain is totally different from metal and it's also different from what I do. But I was impressed, and as a challenge, I thought, you know what? I use the low gain mode, and I modded the existing channels on the M1 Iridium to kind of match your pedals.
Yeah, you tried to match my sound, and yeah, it
and then
works.
I sent you home, and it was an experiment. It's like, okay, maybe he comes back and says it doesn't work, but I think 2 weeks later you said, I don't need my pedals anymore.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
So maybe you can show us some of your pedals in front of the clean channel.
Yeah, sure. So this is the clean channel, like. So I take the bridge pickup, and then it's very clean. And to get more grit to the sound, I use the RC booster, and maybe you can see the gain is pretty much at 3 o'clock, and yeah, it gives a little grit to the sound. It's more fun to play if you have a little gain, yeah. And
sure. So that kind of sound is, well, it's more fun. It's dynamic. You can play with the attack.
Yeah.
I think that's the
you can
beauty.
dig into the strings, and that's. And for this kind of sound, I like to play at the bridge. And yeah, here's
Yeah, sounds cool.
Yeah.
So what else do we have as drive pedals here? The Tone Hunter blues driver.
Yeah, this is a blues driver from Boss.
Yeah, modded.
It's modded by Tone Hunter. I don't know what.
Ralf Reichen.
Yeah.
He quit. He stopped his business.
He stopped his business, and he's a genius, I think.
Yeah.
Because when I moved to Cologne, I really had problems with my sound. I had an amp, a Brunetti amp, these combos with 3
Brunetti
channels.
Italian.
Yeah.
Too many channels, too many knobs.
Too many knobs, yeah.
But they had. I liked their overdrive. They had one brown, Van Halen style overdrive, which I liked, but
it was too hard to dial sound. So, and then a guy said, you have to go to Ralf Reichen, to Tone Hunter. And that was before he was big in this business. He had a little room in his house in the basement. And he gave me this one. And I have a tube screamer. And I have an SD one. They are all modded. I don't know what he did to the pedals, but I think these newer ones, the Wazacraft blues driver, it's similar. But this one is still better. I don't know. So that's my go-to.
Let's hear it.
So it's just a little more than the RC booster. So if you.
The edge of breakup.
Edge of breakup, yeah. So, and normally I have the SD one here, but it's in my studio, so.
Yeah, and Anyway, what is the settings on the AMP1, your foundation, clean tone? So it's 8.5 on the volume. The clean tone is, do you know?
I have
It's counterclockwise.
I have a photo, you know. I always take photos. If it's good sound,
Yeah, sure.
I take a photo and then I try to reproduce it.
Yeah, sure. Well, this is old school, how you say, how to make presets. Old school is make photos.
That's it.
Okay, so clean tone is counterclockwise, all the way down. Volume is at 8.5, bass is at 3, middle is at 2.5 to 3, and treble is at 3. Reverb on and lots. So that's the basic sound. What I like now is what have I done or what have we done to your vintage channel, and which pedal could it kind of replace?
It can replace the RC booster and the blues driver, both.
Okay, so maybe.
But sometimes it depends on the room. Sometimes I switch to the classic channel. I don't know why. In some rooms, the classic channel is better.
Yeah.
For me, I like both. So this is the vintage channel. It's much louder. So
Yeah, let's whatever dial it in here. Yeah, and for the guys, this is gain on 7, but I think using the remote, I programmed the low gain for this channel very low.
Yeah.
I think it was kind of almost to 0, or just like 9 o'clock.
I never tried the regular mode, so I'm used to the low gain mode.
If you play the regular mode, you become a metal player. Trust me, it's not your cup of tea. I know Iridium. Just for fun, I can copy the settings on this Iridium and then I plug you in here.
Okay.
And then we can compare. So whereas the 3 is here, wait a minute, 2 is here, and then 3 here, reverb on, no boost, and we are in vintage mode, so there's no side control. I use the same blue box as you are.
I have the black 212.
Okay, yeah, well, which is Fender Black 212. So, can you play this one?
Oh.
Yeah, it is the same settings.
Different animal.
Yeah. Okay. So this is normal gain mode, and now back to low gain mode.
It's good that you switched my amp in low gain mode.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
No, you would never get there.
Yeah.
So this is kind of the message or the lesson here. If you tweak your AMP1, you can tweak it to a totally different amp. Hey, I can do this live. You plug into the Monster again. Bypass just for the noise. So, and I give you my Monster.
Yeah.
And then I plug in the remote. Just to prove it, I plug it in here and I try to do the same thing. Wait a minute, just one sec. We are vintage channel, reverb, and we have. So this is. Can you play?
Yeah.
Iridium. Sorry, again. Okay, boost off again. Wait a minute. One after. Can you play?
Yeah.
This is kind of. See, this is the vintage channel. Let's see if you're same R7, yeah. So this should be. Okay. And this is, see, this is the I'll show it to the camera. I put it on the overhead so you can see. I'm using the gain control here on 0, like as low as can go. For you. And this is so it's kind of the instant modification of an amplifier.
Yeah, cool.
So this is what we have done here.
Do you need a remote one to do it, or can you?
You can do it with a remote one, or you can do it with MIDI and our MIDI adapter, the MIDI one.
Ah, okay.
But you need an external device to adjust the gain, and then memorize it in the amp, and then it will last forever. So this is what I've done to your amp. You don't even notice.
I leave it like that.
Yes, leave it like that. Enjoy.
Yeah.
Okay, but this is, you know, the sweet side of the Iridium. Well, it's the other side, as you can see. Okay, back to your amp then. Interesting, right? So, yeah, you have a delay in the loop as well,
Yeah.
right?
Right. I
DD7.
have the DD7, yeah. I like the older delays from Boss, like the DD2. I know you are a big fan too. And I have a DD5 also with the Tone Hunter.
Oh, sorry.
And yeah, it's a pretty cool pedal. Then I bought the DD6, which I don't like.
Yeah, it's.
I don't know why, but it sounds different to me. And then the DD7
is good again.
Good again.
And it has all the modern features, but the basic tone is good again.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a new one, I think. It's DD8 now.
Oh,
But
don't ask me.
who cares, you know?
Okay, yeah. So I'm playing with the modded Iridium with my Strat now. Cool. Anyway, but see that this is a metal amp in low gain mode.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And what is the difference between vintage and classic? I mean, you told me that you play the classic sometimes instead of vintage.
The classic has more gain.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's more like classic Marshall, you know. And I can switch over to it.
Yeah.
Just
I don't. Hey, let us be loud.
Yeah. More gain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, and are you using the modern?
Not much.
Not much.
But maybe I will. You know, maybe I try to replace my Soldano pedal
With the
it.
modern.
Yeah, yeah. But then, if I use the modern, I need a lot of gain. Let me try.
Yeah. Is it too loud?
Now, because of my volume pedal, I have to.
Well, to me, it sounds. Wait a minute. There's a little hum.
Yeah.
I use the noise gate just for a second. No, the point is, the modern channel can also be like a fusion, like a mesa boogie to me. It sounds like a Mark IV-ish sound to me a little bit.
Yeah.
Wait, can I have it for a second? Just,
Yeah, sure,
Just because I think I changed that for you as well to match your Soldado pedal.
Yeah.
But I haven't
great.
never played it. It's that kind of focused, more high gain overdrive. I see many comments going on here. One, that amp has better memory. Okay, where is going? MIDI 1, Me Too Silver. Let's see what else is going on. Is it possible to set the gain control to an expression pedal with predetermined min-max settings, or would that be all MIDI? Well, okay. Poo Ninja asked again, is it possible to set the gain control to an expression pedal with predetermined min and max settings? Well, the AMP1 reacts to incoming MIDI commands, and it's a control change command. If your pedal sends the right control change numbers and values, especially, that's the point, then you can do exactly this. So that it is down to your pedal. The AMP1 simply reacts to the incoming signal. So if your pedal or your MIDI setup is adjustable to a determined min setting and max setting, then use the pedal and it's doing exactly what you want. What else? When you find expression pedal which can send out MIDI control, where? Expression pedal, well, usually it's a MIDI controller and a standard expression pedal. So the expression pedal is either part of the MIDI controller. You could use a multi-effects device like a Boss or Line 6 or whatever, because they have that MIDI functionality. Or you have a expression pedal and you have a MIDI controller. So that's the way to do it. Several ways to do it. Wait a minute, what is, I have a Mark IV, can confirm. Okay, classic sounds very similar. Okay, sounds great, very cool. Yeah, so far that's the questions I have seen. Anything from the earlier? Let's look at this. Oh, too many things. Yeah, sorry for the loss of Bernd, rest in peace. Using Kettner amps, yeah. Oh yeah. How much distortion do you need for jazz? That's a question to you.
Yeah, it depends what kind of jazz. There are some players who use a lot of distortion.
Yeah. So, talking about players, what do you? I throw in a few names. Mike Stern. What do you think? Is he doing? Is he part of your world, or is it? What is his thing?
Yeah, absolutely. When I started playing jazz, I heard Mike Stern, and I think he's the best example of combining rock music
And jazz. He also played with Miles, right?
Yeah.
On this, what was it? 80s albums, some jungle style music. I remember.
Yeah, before Schofield joined Miles.
Ah, yeah.
And yeah, and he played a Strat because.
And a Telly. Or back then he played a Strat?
Yeah, in the Miles band he played a Strat.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to listen to that music again because I like
and a big Marshall stack.
Ah, okay.
So because Miles wanted him to sound like Hendrix, you know.
Sure. That's something about Miles Davis that impresses me so much. He invented so many different things, genres even in jazz.
Yeah, yeah,
he redefined jazz, I think 3, 4, 5 times.
Yeah.
Cool jazz, you know, what's the legendary album, the Kind of Blue? Or
Kind of Blue,
yeah.
And he changed his style.
Yeah, unbelievable. For me, this is
years.
He is kind of the most innovative jazz musician to my. I'm not a jazz expert, but to me, he kind of. I'm very impressed that he, in the end, he played time after time by Cyndi Lauper, pop music, but he also did like whatever.
And there he had a great guitar player at that time. I think his name was Foley, and he was playing a 4-string guitar.
Ah.
And playing most of the time, he played single note lines on this guitar.
About Foley, we have Lukas Fowler coming up at the end of this episode, before I forget, because he's also a great guitar player and even better singer. No, he's great. He'll be later, but Foley, Fowler, this was the link.
Back to Mike Stern, you know, I saw him live and he used these plastic things for boss pedals, you know, it's like a case. It looks, it's a case, and he's still using it to this day.
Yeah, the black thing where the boss pedals fit in, and a power supply kind of thing built in.
And, yeah, at that time he played Yamaha amps.
Yeah,
and he used a DS1.
Yeah,
it has a lot of gain and a few delays, and from there the signal went to a Yamaha rec unit. It's an SPX90 or something.
Yeah, SPX90, which is a once rec space.
And there he found a patch, I don't know which patch, by accident. And that's the Mike Stern sound, you know.
Is it kind of a chorus?
Yeah, it's a pitch shifting thing from left to right, and it sounds like chorus. Most players think he's using a chorus pedal, but he never used chorus pedals.
See, back in the days of the SPX90, I was working as a session guitar player in the studio a lot. Mm-hmm. So there was the Alesis Quadraverb or the SPX90.
I had one.
Yeah, so I had several. Yeah, but you know, it's kind of that period in time. Yeah. And the SP, there was the unbelievable expensive Eventide H3000.
Yeah.
Everybody
still
was
expensive.
Everybody was dreaming about it, and really not many people bought it. So what happened is, if you were not on that high level budget, you bought the cheaper stuff, which was kind of the SPX90.
Yeah, and the Alesis stuff.
Yeah, and some of these cheaper had a few programs that made history, that were used by Phil Collins for the drums. And the emulation of the pitch thing, which was the Eventide thing. Back in those days, the Eventide pitch shifter was used to spread the vocals. You know, before they had vocals, they were kind of, you put on plate reverb, and later you had some digital reverb, but the pitch thing was heaven. You put that on your mix, and you sounded like I'm having an expensive record now.
In the 90s, huh?
In the 90s.
They used it for everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
And then,
true.
you know, people like Van Halen did that, but they had a real Eventide. But the cheaper version of that the cheaper products had their inspiration from that expensive ones, but they had their own character. And thereby they created their unique own style as well. And that's one of those happy accidents, I think.
And that's the Mike Stern sound.
Yeah.
And at that time, in the 90s, I bought this Boss case, this plastic case, and put my Boss pedals in. My first drive pedal was a Boss Metal Zone, you know.
Oh.
And
I have one over there, yeah.
I tried to play fusion jazz with it, and it was difficult to get that sound. And later I bought the DS1.
So the DS1 is a bit more civilized compared to the Metal Zone.
Yeah.
And that's a funny thing, because, you know, a jazz guy plays a Metal Zone. Well, and that answers the question, how much overdrive do you need for jazz? Less than a Metal Zone, and maybe a DS1 is good enough.
Yeah. I went to the shop and I asked for the DS1, and they had no DS1s.
Yeah.
So he said, you can take the Metal Zone, it's even better. And I took it home, and
well, it's even better for other people.
I had to live with it. So
yeah, but sometimes it's good to go through that experiments and see what maybe even doesn't work for you.
Yeah.
Because then after that experience, you know, that's not what I want. I want that, and then this kind of clarifies the picture.
Yeah.
Cool. What? Do we have another question?
Can I make the settings?
Ankündigung.
Can I make the settings on the Iridium for low gain myself? I think you did it.
Yeah.
On my.
Okay. Can I make the setting on
Pedalboard.
Okay, Mr. Pedalboard, whoever is behind his pedalboard. Of course you can do it yourself, but you need either a remote one or a MIDI controller. If you have the Iridium, you will find all the instructions on our website, and actually there is, I've done videos that show you how to do it. And you go to blugipedia.com, Blugi like Blue Guitar, pedia.com. That's our knowledge base. And then you type in low gain mode. And there I have videos and some articles that describe you how to program your AMP1, so you can do it. The background story of this is I wanted that as an option for special people like you, that I wanted to mod the amp in a certain way. But then I've done this to a few people, and it kind of, the word spreads around, and then I had to make it official, and I put it into our information expert features. And but the easiest way these days is, because we have now launched the Blugipedia. This is where we find all the info. Anyway, so that's possible, sure. Empty Metal Zone 2 for live, yeah. Spielt doch mal was. Yeah, let's play something.
You have my cable.
You need your cable back. I stole your cable. Wait a minute. Is this?
Yeah, that's it.
I have your cable. Oh, sorry. there's your cable. Where's my cable? Just checking. Key.
C minor.
Okay. Spiel doch mal was. This song was called Spiel doch mal was. Nice. Any other questions? Was? Thanks. I'll check. Great. Okay. Grüße aus dem Sauerland. I can make a Holdsworth sound with my Mercury, clean and lead. Yes, you can.
Cool.
By the way, Holdsworth, it's a very special guitar player.
He played Dukes and Kettner amps for a while.
Sure,
right?
and I interviewed him.
Oh,
I spent a whole day with
a
him.
legend, yeah.
Legend in Karlsruhe, drinking beer, because this was his other passion. He had his own brewery.
Yeah, I heard about it.
Yeah, and nice guy, very, mellow. But do you understand his concept? I mean, I think he is. Most people think he's from a different planet, because he stretches from the normal. There's a normal thing, and then he puts on this extra layer. And I think for him it was always easy peasy, because I could see he was not like suffering or like, torturing himself with something. I think it was a very natural
thing for him to
for
play
him.
like that. Yeah.
His father was a big band leader, I think.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah, he told me stuff like he's had this background in the family. His father was arranging big band music, so
he grew up with
music.
With music
and he grew up with piano and the violin.
Okay,
so this
makes
is
sense, because this legato stuff he did.
Yeah.
If you hear violin, it's.
So he heard complex music and complex harmonies from the big bands already when he was 3 years old.
Yeah.
So that this is maybe why his brain was very, very natural.
Is jazz originally from New Orleans? It's known as the city of jazz, isn't it? Yeah, I think so.
You probably know more than I do.
Yeah, the traditional stuff comes from New Orleans.
I heard that jazz in New Orleans started with like the beat with the marching drums. And
marching bands, yeah.
Yeah, and the funny story is it goes back to France, because the French soldiers there brought in the instruments, like the brass instruments and the drums.
Oh, okay.
And then the black people used that and brought it to another level. And then it started whatever became later jazz, and now it's back in France. Okay, anyway. I have a few other things. We talked about Mike Stern. We talked a little bit about John Scofield. How would you define Scofield in a way? What is the thing about John Scofield?
I think there's more blues
Yeah.
in his playing. And
Dirty blues.
yeah. I just watched the interview. You watched the interview with Rick Beato?
Not yet.
Oh,
it's
man,
on my wish.
It's great.
Of course.
And then I watched another a little concert from the Elbphilharmonie in Hamburg. And he played a solo set. That's his thing at the moment. And he uses his boomerang loop pedal. And it sounds fantastic. And 2 Fender Deluxes, one for the loop section and one for
the straight guitar.
For straight guitar. And yeah, there you can feel his time. He has a great time feel. It's unbelievable.
Wow. Yeah. Other names. George Benson.
Yeah, sure. I heard the same stuff you heard, I think.
Yeah.
The Breeze In and all these.
Yeah. Yeah, this was when I was still listening to jazz, and then I went into things that nobody knows. Do you know guitar players? Corrado Rustici? No.
It's an Italian guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know him
because
I think he's connected to D.V. Mark.
Ah, yeah. He was one of those fusion Italian guys.
And I think D.V. Mark has built a signature and a signature guitar.
Okay.
And it's a small one. It looks a little bit like these small Holdsworth guitars. But I never met him.
Okay. Do you know Ray Gomez?
Yes, I know. I know Ray Gomez.
You know what my latest Ray Gomez story is?
Yeah, you told me you had a call with him,
Yeah,
right?
unbelievable. I mean, I was talking with Ali Neander here and then Ray got some stuff, put that on his Facebook. I
You have to invite him, right?
hey, we are already kind of buddies. The thing
That's
is,
cool, yeah.
it went. The internet is so great. And then I said, is Thomas your biggest fan? Blah blah. Because back in the days when I stopped listening to the jazz thing, Ray was my hero because he has that blues, jazz, but in a very aggressive way and out of this world. Anyway, so what happened was, I told him I was the guy that he saw on the Academy of Tone, and then we had a phone call in the middle of the night. He just got up and said, "Yeah, man, here, this is Ray from New York, blah blah blah," and he was in his bed and showed me his bottle of water, and I said, oh, it's 1 o'clock at night here in Germany, and this is my bottle of water. So this was the starting point. And then we started to talk about whatever, Jimi Hendrix and stuff like that. So it was cool. And then, we had this conversation. And during the conversation, he took a few photos with, because we had FaceTime or something like that, screenshots. And he put that back on the Ray Gomez Facebook account where I showed him the AMP1 because he didn't know about that thing. And then the other day, in the middle of 3 in the afternoon, he called me again and said, "Man, we have to do something together." I said, "Wow, that's deep." And then I thought, Ray, this year I'm booked and it's heavy with the COVID thing, but one day next year we do something.
Yeah, cool.
That's okay. Anyway, what is your connection or musical influence with Larry Carlton?
Yeah, I heard his stuff, and I really like it. But I never transcribed. Maybe a few licks, just to learn how he uses harmony and scales, but I never transcribed a whole solo.
Yeah.
But I'm a big fan. There's one concert on the net. It's live in Lugano.
Okay.
It's in a trio setting with his son on bass.
I've been to the Baked Potato with his son
With
playing
Travis,
bass. Yeah, Travis.
Unbelievable bass player.
Unbelievable, tasty.
Yeah.
Mr. Groove Master. Unbelievable.
Yeah, this it's from 2011, I think, and it's a great trio. Really cool. He plays the Bludotone.
Yeah.
Great sound. For him. Yeah.
For him. Yeah. I like Larry Carlton. He always sounded great. And by the way, he played one of those Fender Deluxes on the whole Steely Dan period here. One of those. If you want to hear that amp sound cool, listen to old Larry Carlton.
Who else is there? Yeah, my hero, is Chuck Loeb. You know him?
I heard about it, but I don't know.
He died a few years ago.
Yeah.
And he was a great player, man. And when I heard him first, he played a Yamaha Strat style guitar.
Yeah.
And his combination of pop music and jazz music is fantastic. And he was the last guitarist in 4Play.
Foreplay was, I think Larry Carlton played in that band as well.
Yeah, Lee Ritenour, then Larry Carlton, and then Chuck Loeb.
I was at a Foreplay concert in Baden-Baden. There's a very bad German joke about Saarländer und Pelzer. Okay, I do this in German. Pelzer kommt zum Saarländer und sagt, ich wohne in Baden-Baden, wo wohnst du? Ich wohne in Pirmasens. Okay, nobody gets that, but this was insider. Okay, back to normal. There's another guy which I find is a killer player. He's also from not too far from our area, Strasbourg, Birelli-Lagrène.
Yeah, I know.
So
unbelievable
player.
Yeah.
I mean, he plays anything. He plays bass, he plays guitar. When he plays guitar, he's outstanding. When he was 14, he had already done his first records, gypsy jazz and stuff like that.
Yeah, and he's one of the few gypsy players who made the connection to the jazz players in the States, you know.
Yeah.
He was invited, I think he played with Chick Corea and people like that. Unbelievable player. I saw him in Strasbourg.
Yeah.
And he was playing a Yamaha Strat style guitar, I think a Pacifica or great guy. Wow.
I met him at a trade show. He's super nice guy. He has no clue about technology. I had to help him big time because he was lost. He was somewhere, and I kind of, okay, Pirelli, what's up? What do you need? Blah 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 blah. So, and then he said, oh, I'm hungry too. I got him a cheese sandwich. You know, he plugged the guitar in here, some power here, and a cheese sandwich. And then, you know, and then he played unbelievably great. I think he even played my Strats, you know, because something didn't work. You know, take this one. You know,
it doesn't matter. You
it
can
doesn't
play
matter.
on every guitar.
Yeah, he was
jazz guitars or electrics.
Well, it doesn't matter. He was this. Which amp for Johnny Guitar Watson? I don't know, but
Fender?
I guess Fender. Yeah, it sounds so Fender.
Loud Fender, clean amp.
And the trick to get a Johnny Guitar Watson sound is you have to play with the fingers and you have to snap the strings. Like, wait a minute, and maybe play an E. I do it with a Strat first, and like. What's
Johnny G is back. Yeah, and he used Fender amps, I think. Yeah.
I'm here on the clean channel, but it's Fender. But the tone is in his fingers. That's in the right hand. That's the thing. If you play with a pick, it's not the thing.
Same,
You have to. That's Johnny Guitar Watson. One 8th and Kansas City also was heavily in early jazz. Wow. Anyway, I want to talk a little bit about your solo records because the first intro thing was some SNIP. What's that? That's a duo with a friend of yours?
Yeah, maybe you know him. His name is Achim Raphael. He's from Hamburg.
I watched on some video clips that you...
Unbelievable bass player. He can play everything, you know, fingerstyle, slap. He's a monster.
Yeah.
And a great musician. And I met him in Hamburg. And and we tried to connect and we sent some files. And and then we said, okay, it's pretty cool. Let's make a little video every Tuesday. And then
so you have a fixed date?
A fixed date.
Bam, deliver.
And then we started that. And we did 100 weeks, like you with the Academy of Tone.
103 now,
100, And then after 100 weeks, we said, okay, now maybe it's time to release a single. So we released our first single. And you can find it on the net, on Spotify, Apple Music, and so on. And next month we will release the second single, and then we will make an album, I think, record an album.
But you already have some of your own music out on albums.
Yes.
Which is over there.
This one.
Get
this.
Which one is your first one?
This one is from 2008.
Okay.
It's called, long time ago. The Journey.
The Journey,
Yeah, and there I mixed hip-hop beats with smooth jazz, guitar and stuff like that. And in 2011,
I think it's cool music to drive in a car.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is,
Here you can see the photos are. I made it in the car.
Okay. This is your own photo. So this is like while driving with. Yeah, cool. Yeah, it's the atmosphere.
Oh yeah, I see here. At that time, I was playing a frameless guitar. It was like a telly with 2 humbuckers.
Okay.
And Tone Hunter stuff. And
of course.
All that stuff. And then in 2011, that's the second one. Ta-da.
Yeah. This one.
Ah, this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you find the albums on my website.
Yeah.
And and the next album will come this year.
And that's the one that will be called Cassetta.
Yeah, it's Danish for
Cassette.
cassette. Because I found some old tapes, you know.
Yeah.
And I found some old grooves and I recorded some of them, and now I have 15 pieces and 15 songs.
Yeah.
So time to make another album. A few years later.
Well, this is how it goes. This is, you know.
You have to make a living, and then it's...
And then it takes time to do an album, but...
And it has to feel right, you know.
Yeah, don't do an album when you don't feel like doing an album.
Yeah.
That's why I can't really do my own stuff that much, because
You're too busy.
I'm too busy, and
you need time.
Yeah, I still have some ideas here and there, and I have snippets, but to really work on an album, you know, you have to have the music, which means like spend some time with it and then do it. And my muse is AMP1 at this point, which is my next big project, and this will
I think
keep
everybody
me
is curious about this.
Well, including myself, yes, sure.
I can tell you, when I drove here, a guy called me and said, "Can you make a photo of the AMP1 and send it to me?"
No, you can't, because I don't show it to people now. We actually did one at the very first episode of this year, and where I showed bits and pieces. And I had it here in the studio the other day and showed it a little bit, because it was here, but today it's not here, so I can't show you, and you cannot do a picture because it's with Julian at this point. Okay. When we go back in our history, I mean, we're talking about the very early days, Heiner Franz.
Yeah.
You found a picture that you showed me with the first guitar you bought from him was a George Benson GB, what is it, 20 or 10?
GB 10.
10. And these old GB 10s are the good ones.
Yes. This one was from 1979.
Yeah.
And I bought it from Heiner.
Yeah.
You can see it here. It's me, 12 years old, trying to play jazz guitar.
How cool is that? Yeah.
So I bought the guitar for 900 marks from him, which was pretty cheap at that time.
Yeah.
And I tried to play on it, but I couldn't even play because he had 14 strings.
Yeah. Gauge of 14.
Gauge of 14. That was pretty hard. And I tried, and I thought, man, if you want to play jazz, you have to play these heavy strings.
Heiner was like that, yeah.
Yeah, but later I learned I can change to 11 or 12.
Yeah.
And I played this guitar for 15 years, I think.
Yeah. I remember the days when these guitars came out, the first ones. I was really impressed because especially the GB10 is nice and small compared to...
It's perfect if you have two guitars and you know, a Strat and a jazz guitar.
Yeah.
They both fit in a double gig bag.
Yeah.
Not too big if you travel a lot. So it's super, and it's easy to switch between guitars.
Yeah.
You can play one tune on your Strat and then
go for the GB10, and it still feels, in a way, if you have such a big jazz guitar, it's like, it's a different game.
Totally. And they are way too expensive, you know. If you have an L5, you can't take it on a plane. It's too dangerous. So.
Yeah.
But some people do it, and that's the best way to play these guitars. I would love to buy a L5, by the way, but it's not easy to find a good one.
So if you have to sell an L5, contact YouTube at BluGuitar.
For good price.
Good price, make good price. Good price. Yeah.
And yeah, but they are pretty expensive right now.
Yeah.
A friend of mine, he has a Super 400. You ever played a Super 400?
I think I did, but I'm not a super.
It's not
jazz guy.
17 inch, it's 18 inch. It's much bigger.
Even bigger, yeah.
It's even bigger, but it's great because it's so loud if you play it just acoustically.
Yeah, it's already
there.
Yeah. I once played an L5. I'm not a jazz guy. That's the first thing, but it's like a taste. Like, okay. And then when you play such a guitar, you start to think about, that makes sense. I mean, if you play a few chords, and then it starts to make that sound.
And you play
differently.
Differently. Yeah, that's true. And
yeah, that's. What is the secret plectrum for the jazz guys? You brought some of
So during the pandemic, I tried a few because I had a lot of time sitting in my home studio, and I couldn't buy any pedals. Can't buy a pedal every day, so I decided to buy
plectrums.
Plectrums.
Yeah.
So, and I found 2 picks from Blue Chip.
Yeah.
These ones.
Okay. The camera is trying to focus.
I think this is the
BC Blue Chip
Jazz large.
LG.
It's a big one, and they are great. But the problem is
they cost 80 euros.
Yeah, this one's 75, and I tried to find a shop. There's a shop. It's called Martins Musikkiste. It's somewhere around Hamburg, I think. And I think he's the distributor for Blue Chip picks. And I have another one, this one. This is the Andy Wood signature pick.
Is it also for Blue Chip?
It's also a Blue Chip.
Andy Wood?
Andy Wood. You know
no,
him?
I'm not the expert.
Oh, he's a monster player.
Jazz?
No, he's playing like, he can play like Eddie, Van Halen
really?
stuff. Yeah. You have to check him out. It's his technique, his alternate picking is amazing.
Okay.
So, and he developed this pick.
Andy Woods?
Yeah.
I've just put the note in my... Andy Woods.
And this pick is a little cheaper. It's 45, I think, euro. Crazy, yeah?
And what are the criteria when you choose picks? Is it about feel, tone, speed? What is it?
Yeah, if you go for speed, I think then the Jazz 3 from Dunlop is the best one. But then if you start playing chords and funk stuff, it's too small to play funk stuff for me. And yeah, and I like these picks, you know them.
Fender, extra heavy.
I like the tone, it's the best tone, but they are not the fastest ones.
Yeah.
So I'm still experimenting.
This is my pick. Can you try?
Wow, this is a big one. Huh?
Yeah.
Very bright sounding. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. It produces some noise.
Yes.
I try to find picks with
no noise.
No noise, yeah.
Okay, then try this. This is a version with a different material. I'm just going through my... This is...
V-picks, yeah. The scratch in the note, you know?
Yeah. It's another Vinny V-pick, but without...
Compare it to the Blue Chip.
Yeah.
The Andy Wood
mini. That's a V pick.
Standard.
Standard that you can buy. It's polycarbonate plexiglass, I think, because you can see through. Have you ever tried one of these?
That's your signature pick, right? I saw it.
This is the
on
original Ritchie Blackmore.
Ah.
Okay.
Wow, that's strange.
That's hard.
Yeah, strange feeling.
Yeah, but it, and this is a Fender nylon. Just try this. This is kind of a Peter
Thin, but
thin. Very defined.
yeah, it has a nice compression. Yeah, cool.
Okay, and finally, that's a Gravity. I think the edges are so rough. I kind of beat up this. Maybe you have to find the one edge that is still okay. The rest.
Warm sounding.
Yeah. And these. They are fluorescent kind of. You find them on stage when they drop them. that's
cool. Yeah.
That's the cool thing. They have so ugly colors. You definitely find them.
But I think there's no special pick for jazz guitar, so you have to find your own one. I know guys, they play stone picks.
Yeah.
Very thick ones, but it's not okay if you play a Strat or an electric guitar. It's too heavy. The pick is too. Yeah.
Yeah, the Blackmore thing is, I grew up on this weird pick, but that weird, and you can hear the.
Yeah, it's a little noise on top.
Yeah.
Blink, 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 blink.
Because of the shape, you don't have the standard. Slanted pick angle. You can even play with a 90 degrees.
Yeah, okay.
It's weird. You have to try them out.
But I will try these Gravity picks. Blue chip. Surtelli guitar guy. It's William, I think.
William Lee.
Yeah. He talks about Andy.
Yeah. Okay.
He's
Monster player.
Monster player, and he has a signature guitar from
Sur.
From Sur.
Yeah. Stefan Mandl. Uli, which songs would you recommend first for getting started with jazz guitar?
Oh yeah, great question. Like you said before, these standard songs like Autumn Leaves, Autumn Leaves, and the thing is, what most people, they just play over the chords and improvise, which is pretty cool, but it's also important to learn the melody, and that you play. That you can play the melody and the chords, and then you know how the song is, and then you start to improvise. And Autumn Leaves maybe and Blue Bossa, these standard songs, it's a good idea to buy a real book.
That's
standard jazz book with all the songs. And there are some apps. There's one app, it's called iReal Pro. Mm-hmm. It's cool if you practice, but there are no melodies, and it's
missing.
I think it's missing. Yeah. Mm. And then that's how I learned jazz guitar from Heiner. He showed me Autumn Leaves with the melody, and then he said, okay, you have to learn the chords, and then you have to learn how to play walking bass lines. jam with another guitar player and you
Yeah.
play bass and chords and you can play over it. That's
Yeah. And just for a moment, we are playing an AMP1 Iridium,
Yeah.
you know, because, you know, this kind of sound you
Yeah.
would never expect from
that's
the
true.
metal amp from the company BluGuitar.
No,
You know, it
no.
has nothing to do with that. But, you know,
But I like that. You know,
It-
it's, you know, if you find gear from other styles and you combine it, so
and it sounds totally
it
cool.
sounds like
Yeah.
a jazz amp. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For you, it does the thing. And by the way, you brought your Polytone,
Yeah.
the big one. I know there's smaller ones
Yeah,
with
this
12-inch speakers, but the one that you brought is the 15-inch.
Yeah. This is the one George Benson is playing.
Yeah. I mean, George Benson has also twins and a
Yeah,
signature.
and he plays oftentimes a combination between the Polytone and the Fender Deluxe or a
Yeah.
Twin.
Yeah.
And the Polytone is more for the bass side of the tone,
Yeah.
and the Twin is the rest. Yeah, that's a classic jazz amp, you know, and it's pretty heavy, and it has a thick sound, and even if you use a Strat with single coils, it sounds like jazz.
Because it turns anything you plug into jazz.
And it's not easy to play this amp because there's nothing coming back to you if you play. You know,
Yeah.
it's just the sound straight sound.
Yeah, but okay, that's a concept too. Yeah.
One amp, one guitar, one cable.
Yeah,
that's
of course.
it.
And
One
the
pullover, that's a jazz guy.
And one cigar. When it comes back to Heiner, in the old days, he was a heavy smoker of cigar. And
Yeah, you couldn't even see him in his room because there was so much smoke.
yeah, yeah.
Iridium a month ago and selling everything else. Not a metal guy. I play contemporary Christian and it's fantastic.
Ah.
I'm always clear and present in the mix. Yeah.
This is how we like it. From North Carolina, Ty Carnes. Oh man, my eyes get
Yeah.
Carnes, right? No. By the way, we found out that the Lucas Fowler interview we haven't prepared. I mean, it's done, but our Lucas, our video Lucas, here I didn't mention to send it. We will send that next week, okay? Because he's also from North Carolina, just in case.
Ah, okay. Okay.
And by the way, I had an invitation to play in North Carolina back in the days, 10, 15 years ago, and I couldn't finance it. I mean, I would love to play there once.
Yeah.
And I know that North Carolina is very heavy into music. I heard so many things going on there. So, yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't get the band together as I wanted.
Maybe this year after.
No, not yet. But maybe next year. We never know. I mean, I need an excuse. You know, that's the thing about the Amp X. If it sells well next year, and the company makes too much money, I can drop my prices and play a gig for you guys in North Carolina just for fun.
Cool, yeah.
And I declare it as an Amp X demo, you know, and write it off taxes. This was all my plan when I created BluGuitar, you know, to have some more options. Very cool. You also have a unique volume pedal on the floor, which I want to show people because it's a huge. Well, it says Vertex, but I think it's a Boss.
These hair are from my dog.
Well, or the people sitting here in the studio previously, you know.
Oh yeah.
We had, I mean.
Yeah,
you know,
there were some long-haired.
Yeah, but that's probably your dog. Yeah.
This is.
Okay, so Mason Marangella is the guy behind Vertex, and he has different pedals out there. Yeah. I use his SS. What is it? The Stevie Ray Vaughan steel stringer.
Steel stringer. Yeah.
Which is a
great boost pedal for the clean dumble.
Yeah, dumble style.
Sound,
So a huge volume pedal. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. I never liked that super huge pedals. Do you need it as that big, or
No, I just bought it, and it's. You're right, it's too big.
it is?
So I would love to shrink it and buy a smaller one.
Okay, because I'm just about to do this AMP1 controller pedal, and it's shrunken.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
This one's too big.
Yeah,
But
there's some that are too small, which are 15 centimeters and stuff, but I'm going like 20 centimeters the depth of the amp, which is kind of like an AMP1 that's big enough,
Yeah.
even for tall guys with long feet. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and I don't use it in the signal chain.
Yeah.
I have here this Vertex boost. I hope you can see it.
On the
It's
pedalboard?
On the pedalboard, it's a red pedal here.
Yeah.
And I use it as a volume control.
Yeah, so the boost is a super neutral boost.
Yeah.
It's a kind of a buffer.
Yeah.
And,
And it helps to get the sound, to keep the sound fresh. You know, if you use the pedals like this one, the old MXR from the 70s,
right.
the signal gets really bad.
Yeah.
So,
Tell
and the
me.
boost helps.
Yeah.
In the past, I used a switching system from the
Yeah.
gig rig.
Yeah.
It's really great, but it's too big for me. You know,
Yeah.
if you travel, it has to be small.
Yeah.
And so I used the boost, and there's a new version now on the market from Mason, and it's even smaller.
Yeah.
It's like half the
Half
size.
the size.
Yeah.
Like a normal pedal size.
So, and I use the pedal to blend. If I'm playing in a band, let's say with a horn player, saxophone, trumpet, whatever, oftentimes guitar players are too loud.
Of course.
And then, you know, they get pissed. The horn players get pissed at the guitar players. So I use the volume pedal, and I blend my sound to find the sweet spot in the band.
Right. Yeah.
And also for funk, if you play like real funk guitar and the guitar or the amp is too loud, it's hard to play in groove, to lock with the drums.
Yeah,
you know?
sure. You have to lock also on volume to connect.
Then you start listening
Yeah.
after the drums, and you are playing. You are rushing. So
Yeah.
then I use this one, and it works perfectly. So
Yeah. Okay, so I think that's the point. You have a volume control that's actually not using the signal. It's kind of a controller.
yeah, it's a control.
For that buffer boost, but it's not a boost. It's simply a buffer.
You can use it as a
boost if you want
and you
to.
can turn it up
Yeah.
to 16
Extra dBs.
Yeah, but I don't need it.
No,
So
it's your buffer, and then this is the controller to reduce the volume
Yeah.
from like top level unity gain.
yeah, that's it.
Zero gain or
And-
the unity gain down to that.
Sometimes I use the boost. Let's say if you play on a session or you are touring and you play rental amps,
Yeah.
it's always a nightmare to play a rental amp.
Rental is not a good company.
No,
That's a joke.
yeah,
Okay.
it's true. And then you can use the boost, and you can try to get something out of it,
Yeah.
out of a dying amp.
Yeah. This is what pedals are great for. If you have a shitty amp, you still have like a second chance with the pedals. Somewhere maybe you are lucky to find something that you can live with.
Yeah,
You
that's
know.
it. Yeah.
But if you have no choice at all, it's like, man, I'm fucked. If you don't have a good tone, you can't play. At least I have a hard time.
Me too. Especially if you improvise, you know.
Yeah.
That's also with the digital gear.
Yeah.
I like digital stuff, but if you play, let's say, in a musical, or you play every night the same stuff, I can live with it,
Yeah.
no problem.
Yeah.
But if you have to be inspired and you
Yeah.
have to improvise,
Yeah.
then it's hard to.
Yeah.
If you have a horrible sound, then it's a nightmare to play, to invent something, you know. Yeah.
Hey, before we forget, I see the small stone,
Ah,
because you have your small stone
Yeah. Yeah.
and I have my vintage. Did you drop your pick?
Yeah, I have another one. It's okay.
75 euros.
Yeah,
Here.
they're good.
I just found 75 euros on the floor. Are you in the right amp or where are we? I have
I
lost.
think so. So this is my phaser.
Electro harmonics.
I like it. It has just one knob, very easy.
Sure. Can you get the original old?
Ta-ta.
Yeah, I love the same phaser, and I have that on my board from Smallstone Reflection from the 70s, and this one, yeah, was just laying around, and we could do the true A/B comparison.
Yeah, let's do
Ta-da-da-da.
it. So
Let's plug the power into your beautiful.
oopsie.
Yeah. And this goes.
So and now we need
This
this
is
one.
the input.
Oh, it makes noise. I think we have to.
Wait a minute. Which cable is this?
It's like
Okay. Now, I had another idea. Anyway, let's just play this one. That's the same, because this is completely out of the signal path.
so now we have the old one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know
Not
what?
that-
Let put both in serial, because then we can fast input. Let's do this way. So this is
So this is coming from here. So we have to. Then you go from there into my phaser.
okay. And then okay, now I know how to. Okay. Perfect. So
Okay.
we have. Which one is which?
You can switch. I play some chords.
You can. The volume. Yeah, it's a.
And wider.
Yeah.
I don't know if you hear it. But in the studio, maybe makes a difference.
But it's the original Smallstone has a volume drop. It is the classic tone. You heard that noise. It has a certain kind of that tone, that noise, and you heard that because everybody used the old ones. The new one is very, very close, but 5% or 3% different.
You want to sell this one?
Not yet,
Just
but
kidding.
but we're talking about this. Yeah. I have 2 of those.
Ah, okay.
So one day I can spare. Okay, I have another question to you when it comes to places here in Germany. I mean, we talked about North Carolina a little bit because that seems to be a place, but also here in our area we have different places. I mean, you spent some time in Cologne.
Yeah.
So if you are familiar with Germany, well, Bavaria is the town close to the Alps. Hamburg is the thing where the Beatles were, up in the north, and Cologne is kind of in the middle, close to, well, to the Ruhrgebiet, but not the Ruhrgebiet. It's a very special city. It's a lot of media lately. They have the TV stations and stuff. And you've spent a couple of years there, or you kind of connect to the Cologne scene?
Yeah.
Or what? I mean, I always thought you were kind of.
Let's say I have some friends.
Yeah.
And I work with them for years, and they live in Cologne.
Yeah.
So, but now I moved back here to Saarland. But I'm still half of the week I'm there because my wife, she works there. So we have 2 homes, and I prefer it to live on the countryside right now. But lately, I talked to my wife, and she said, "Okay, maybe we go back to the city one day because it's so cool to live in the city. You have everything everywhere, you know." I like both.
Yeah.
So.
And musically, I thought Cologne was always a lot of funky scene.
I think for me it was more like jazz.
Ah, jazz,
because
really?
Of the,
okay.
Yeah, and my sister, she moved. She plays jazz too, and she moved to Cologne, much earlier than me, and so she introduced me to some guys, and said, "Here, my brother wants to come to Cologne," and then you have to hang there.
Of course.
And then you get the first jobs.
How many Kölsch you have to drink in Cologne to hang?
A lot.
A lot, yeah.
A lot.
If you're not familiar with Kölsch, it's that small glass of beer, which is a regional specialty.
Yeah, but you can get it here now.
Yeah, so finally they kind of export the thing. But if you are in Cologne, you have to drink a Kölsch. And of course, it's a small glass, so you have to drink several Kölsch.
Yeah, you know what? I prefer to drink Kölsch nowadays. Yes, I always buy Kölsch and bring the beer to back to the Saarland.
Okay, see, different place, different beer.
Gaffelkölsch or Gildenkölsch.
Yeah, Gaffel is cool. And then you spent some time in Enschede, which is Netherlands.
Yeah.
For studying, or what was it?
Yeah, you know, if you want to make music for a living, it's hard to tell your parents. And then they say, what do you want to do? Yeah, I just want to play guitar and practice all day long. And they say, okay, and
how do you make money?
How do you make money? And then you say, I have no time to make money because I have to practice. And then the best solution is you study jazz.
Good excuse.
So then you have a degree, and everybody says, "Oh, great, a degree! Yeah,
brave.
He's studying music.
Yeah.
Wow!" And
good trick.
That was my trick.
So if you have kids, guys, you know the trick. Don't
let them study jazz
because when they tell you they study jazz, they just want to play.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So then I moved. First of all, when I finished school, I moved to France for a while, to the CMCN. That's like a school there. They had a strong connection to the States.
Yeah.
And you know this school.
Yes, yeah. This is I've been there too. It's actually a very nice building. It is kind of in a old, what is it?
It's Porte de la Grave. It's a part of the old town.
Old town, yeah. And Hans Kuluk used to be the man who organized the whole school, a German guy in France. Very bizarre.
I went there and I asked him, can I study here? And he said, okay, come on and play. And I played and he said, yes, you can study and start in phase 3. And that was it.
Boom. So you skipped the first 2?
Yeah, I skipped the first 2. And then after that I moved back to the Saarland and I had to live in my room with my parents. And that's not good if you have your own apartment and then you go back.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, maybe I have to study somewhere else. And so I went to the Netherlands and
had your freedom.
I had my freedom, yes.
Yeah. You know, but the honest truth about studying, which I've never done, my father was at the university, and so I knew the scene of the university from being a young boy from the very old age. I tell you what the real deal behind students and studying is. You know, they have parties, and they're meeting all the girls, and they get a different chick every week. This was the real deal about studying for some people.
Yeah,
this is what I found out even when I was very young. So, okay, if you're into that, then go and study. But anyway, there's always a different...
I teach a lot, and sometimes a student comes to me and he says, I want to study jazz.
Mm-hmm.
And you really have to think about it if you want it, to make a living of playing guitar and playing jazz music. It's not that easy. So, and you know, I had one guy, he was a great blues player, and he had a good tone playing a Strat, and I said to him, and he was a good singer, by the way, and I said to him, skip it, just play your blues and you are a happy man. But he decided to study jazz, and after a while I discovered him again on YouTube, and now he's a average jazz player, and he lost this blues thing. So it's like studying music, it's not for everybody.
Yeah, that's something, you know, I'm not studying. I have not been on the GIT, which I have nothing against GIT. I know many people being at the GIT and are great players, but the biggest danger is that you lose your identity, your uniqueness, your weird...
You have to be very strong to keep it.
Exactly. Yeah. And so if you are so strong that you don't sacrifice whatever you have when you are so naive and so young and have your own little thing, and then just get the other influences, and then build that kind of into your own thing again, and having all that extra vocabulary with your voice. I think that's the killer thing. But I heard a lot of players that sounded too much the same because they had the same teachers, and they repeat, you know, too much of other people's voices. And I think it's a process. Any input that you take in needs to be processed through your own brain, your own body, and then you will be able to express it in your own words, and then it's about you, because nobody wants to have a copy of somebody. Everybody that wants to listen to music wants the original, whatever, Frank Zappa or
that's
the original.
That's a good thing what you said, because there are so many players, and if you go on Instagram, for example, there are so many players, and there are some they stick out because they have this personality and their own style, and that's important to search your thing.
Yeah, and I think when you listen to successful musicians, successful artists, it's about the personality first. But to be honest, a successful artist is only that little percentage at the top. And to make your living with music, sometimes you have to have some craftsmanship. You have to be able to, you know, deliver in a band, in a studio, in a situation where somebody pays you to do a job. And it's good to have some skills for that too. And this is what you can learn in many ways. And one way is also going to such a school, and then you learn it fast, and you learn a lot.
Or you get a good private teacher, like Heiner was. He helped me a lot, because you know, everybody knows that guitar players are not the best readers, sight readers, you know. But Heiner, he gave me a a book from William Leavitt.
Okay.
It's about it's reading studies, and he said, okay, you can work through and let's check it in 2 weeks. So I practice every day, and I was improving very fast. And reading is important if you want to make money as a professional musician.
It helps, yeah.
Ears and reading. That's
Yeah. My trick was always, they hired me because I knew back in the days how to deliver a good tone and arrange guitars for pop music in the studio. That was my trick. So at 17, somebody booked me, and I had I laid down a few guitar tracks, and it was in time, it was in tune, and it was a guitar arrangement. And then they booked me again and again and again, and other people. So this was my thing. I was asked to read once. I had to escape to the toilet. Like,
it depends what music, you know. If you,
and it was like this.
yeah.
Oh, okay. And but
if you play in big bands or in
you have to.
in jazz ensembles,
You have
but
to.
you're right. If you're in the studio, I never get a chart.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes they gave me charts with chords, like, I mean, bars and chords. So this is part A section.
Most of the time, I have to.
Yeah.
You listen to it once or one or two times, and then maybe you write the chords down.
Yeah.
And you figure it out, and then you play.
Yeah.
And they ask, can you play some single notes, or can you play this or that, and then you improvise. So there are more questions.
Yeah. So where can you buy the H&K book? I have no idea if this is still available at Hughes & Kettner, but I would suggest to ask Hughes & Kettner to get the book. They have an English and a German version, and it's heavy. So that would be an option. Jürgen Scholz. Hello, Jürgen.
Hi, Jürgen.
You know him as well?
Yeah. I met him in Bonn a few weeks ago, and we talked about pedals.
Okay.
And
yeah.
I saw a video. I watched a video with him, and he was demoing the Kaluna drive. What was the name of it? Was a tube inside the pedal.
Yeah.
Great sounding pedal. Yeah, Jürgen's a great player.
Yeah, and a great singer.
Yeah, absolutely.
The first time I booked him as a singer in the studio when I was a producer. I have different business cards. But anyway, so that's Jürgen.
He has an addiction for guitar player, just like drug. Yeah, William, you're right.
Yeah, and are you on the next Guitar Summit? Yes, we are. BluGuitar is. I know we have a booth. I have the honor to organize the Electric Night Party again with Henrik Freischlader, Jeff Loomis, and I don't know how I get these kind of different musicians. They are all great together, and
to play blues together.
We don't play blues. We probably play Ozzy Osbourne's guitar player or whatever, Randy Rhoads. I come up with some idea, and it will be good as it ever was.
Yeah, I will be there too, at the Guitar Summit, and I will demonstrate a new guitar, but I can't talk about it, but I will be there. So, what is the next project for BluGuitar after AMP1?
Hey, guys, I'm busy with AMP1 first, but of course I have ideas. I could make and I could make and I'm not talking about this because then you will ask about that again. You know, I tell you, it is an extraordinary, exceptional expansion of our product range.
Maybe a jazz amp?
Yes. Maybe not. X. So I'm talking in X's. Talking in X's. I have to mention one thing which is happened in the meantime. I did something wrong here. For those guys who have had sound requests, we have tons of sound requests. How to make a great jazz tone? We will put your sound on there as well. We have our Blugipedia, and there we have a tone finder. So people that have an AMP1 can go there, and when I meet people like you, or sometimes I do it on artist requests or people asking for a John Mayer tone. So on the Blugipedia, blugipedia.com, you can put in John Mayer, and there are settings for John Mayer, how to get there. Kill switch engage is another tone that we have. Well, this is probably metal, because I don't know. And then we have ZZ Top. I know ZZ Top, yes. We have Santana. We have Yngwie Malmsteen in very many different variations with the DOD 250 overdrive pedal and the Mercury, and then with just the Iridium and with just the AMP1. So sometimes, all options are there. And then from another episode, we had Alex Beirut, because he has been on your stool.
I watched the episode. He's a great guy.
Alex is
a rock star.
He's always a rock star. We actually had a gig together the other night, I have to say, because it was kind of very late. No official gig. We got booked from somebody who had a birthday and too much money. I tell you, the food was exceptionally, but the sound was so crappy. The hall was so much reverb. And Alex is such a cool dude. Wears sunglasses, does his thing, doesn't get any nervous. I was always like, man, maybe I should change the sound of the bass drum or anything, or you try to.
He's in the moment.
He is in the moment, and he's just a rock star. Love Alex.
Do you get, just a question, insecure if your sound is on?
I can deal with it, but I know what you mean. There is the moment where I feel I'm not in my comfort zone.
Yeah, me too.
And then there's a mental decision to do is, can I change it? And at that night I try to change things. Well, we had no mixing engineer, and therefore I felt like somebody that understands a little bit about acoustics has to deal with it. So, and there were things. Man, I didn't set up the whole thing because I was the guitar player, but since there was nobody there, I tried to fix whatever was possible. Bass drum, I could hear there was a resonance, so changed the parametric EQ while playing guitar. Of course, Alex was still there, so anyway, we did it. Everybody was happy, but I was kind of a double job guy. I was doing this and that, and then after half of the set, I said, fuck it. The rest
Just play.
Now I play.
Yeah.
And then
it's a decision you have to make.
Yeah.
I get insecure if the sound is not good, so I have to learn it, how to deal with it, and it's a mindset. Just to say, okay, let's go and play.
And I think that's very important, because if you're not flicking the switch to I'm a player now, you will sacrifice the evening, because people watch you and they
paid for it.
And they paid for it, and they want to see somebody that is happy making music. So if you are on the other side of the switch, I'm still in the soundcheck mode, or whatever, forget it. It's like whatever it sounds like, even if it's the crappiest sound ever, make it sound good. At least work towards that goal.
I had that. I had a gig and my volume control failed, and I had a crazy out of phase tone. And then I made the decision, okay, I have to live with it and play with it. And there was a guy coming after the show, and he said, hey, what a great tone. Great.
Peter Green. Because somebody put the humbucker in his guitar the wrong way, and this was the original Peter Green tone.
So there's a good idea for you. A BluGuitar 1 space 100-watt
rack power amp. In a 1 space
would be possible.
Yeah, sure, it's easy. Get an AMP1 and put it in a drawer, and then you have.
Do you think rack stuff is coming back?
for some people not that much. For some people it's coming back, but
because pedal boards get bigger and bigger, and
yeah, but I'm on the next level with AMP and I think things shouldn't be too big. But I know there are campers out there and they are rack mountable and they want a power thing which they have, but it's not the right. Such a power amp sound makes a camper sound better, and of course. But the point is, I'm more into shortcut is into my own solutions, which I would personally use. And I had rack gear.
Me too.
And it's too heavy.
Yeah, it's.
I'm done with it. Sorry guys, but this is like, we can go next door. I show you my rack. It still exists, but it's like, do you want to move that fridge? No, for me, I'm too old.
Yeah, I had a Soldano SP77 and a power amp stereo, and I found a tape from a live gig,
and it sounded good.
I have to say, the sound was awesome.
No, what?
Stereo delays and everything, and then now you can see just a few pedals, but the sound was great at that time. But a big heavy rack, 2 speakers, and
see, this is, I want to create products that give you that great tone, but lightweight and universal power. And if you have a rack system, it's like, the case alone is kind of heavy. Yeah. You know what? We had 2 hours already. We make a little funk whatever jam and throw you out.
Okay,
Yeah. So, hey guys, thanks for watching this special episode with Uli Brodersen.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me, Thomas.
Yeah, his CDs and stuff. And thank you so much for the insights. Well, first on the Iridium, the sweet side of the Iridium, and of course your pedalboard and all the stuff you're doing. I think this was kind of another great puzzle pieces that, you know, make the whole picture wider, better, deeper. Hey, and it's actually the first time we played something together.
Yeah, great. So we met a few times at music fairs, but
but never played.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, finally we played some notes. It seems to be funky.
Yeah.
Okay, see you guys next week, and thanks, Uli. Cheers.
Thank you, Thomas.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.